SB 273 was filed by Senator Donna Campbell. What is unlawful exclusion of a CHL holder by a governmental entity? Well, here it is. This was added. It's all new. Local Government Code 411-209. Wrongful exclusion of a concealed handgun license holder. A state agency or political subdivision of the state may not provide notice by communication described by, and you're going to need to pay very close attention to the ors, described by section 30.06 Penal Code, or by any sign expressly referring to that law, or to a concealed handgun license. That last "or" is a catch-all. There can be no sign that talks about a license holder at all. Unless the license holder carrying a handgun under the authority of this chapter is prohibited from entering or remaining on premises or other place owned or leased by the governmental entity unless the license holders are prohibited from carrying a handgun on the premises or other place by section 4603 and 46035. How many license holders do I have in here today? See? Okay, good. The rest of y'all, you need to get it. All right. So I've got to break this down because we have both in here. 4603 and 46035 are the places that we are told we cannot carry. That's where you find the laws. Okay? If it's prohibited in 4603 or 46035, which we are going to cover those in a little while, then they can post those signs till the cows come home. They don't need to. It's a redundant thing because license holders are literally the most law-abiding people in the state. They're literally the most law-abiding demographic in the state. Okay? I'll give you the numbers, the factual numbers. Of all crime committed from a Class B misdemeanor, which is a minor offense, and up, in the state of Texas, less than 0.3% is committed by a CHL holder. They're literally the most law-abiding demographic in the state. Okay? They want to obey the law. They know not to carry into a high school or a junior high. They know that. Don't need to put a sign up there, right? That's kind of what I'm talking about. No big deal. All right? So, before I read this, let me explain something to everyone. There's this great big myth going on out there right now. Somehow people think that places that license holders can carry was expanded in the 84th session. The only place that we're going to be able to carry after the 84th session that we couldn't before is college campuses. That's it. There wasn't another single law that passed, there wasn't another single bill that passed that made it to where I could carry anywhere new. And a lot of people think that SB 273 expanded where we can carry. No. The law has always been very, very clear. Local governments are not to regulate license holders. That's always been in the law. It was in 229.01, and in 2003, it was added to 30.06, so you see that in 30.06E. And because they continued to ignore the law, a civil penalty was added. That is what SB 273 is, a civil penalty. And it says a state agency or political subdivision of the state that violates this law is liable of a civil penalty of not less than $1,000 and not more than $1,500 for the first violation, and not less than $10,000, not more than $10,500 for the second violation. And C is very, very important. Each day of a continuing violation of subsection A constitutes a separate violation. So I'm going to put this in Cold Spring country boy terms. Day 1 is 1,000. Day 2 is 10,000. Day 3 is 10,000. Day 4 is 10,000. Day 5 is 10,000, and on down the road. Okay? And this is for our law enforcement folks in here, probably more than anybody. A wrongful exclusion of a CHL holder is not enforceable. If a government entity posts a no firearms sign in violation of this law, it's not enforceable, and license holders can and should ignore it. get into some of the things that have happened since the bill passed. So the Attorney General came out with an opinion on this issue. The opinions were sought very quickly. We knew they were going to be. We had a senator request one for us because we have always believed that entire courthouses were not off limits. We've always believed that. Now we're in the minority, but that's what we've always believed. So we went out and got an Attorney General's opinion. The Attorney General came out with the opinion in December, and basically the opinion says that if it is a multi-purpose building, so there's something in there other than courtrooms or other offices, they could not prohibit CHL holders from carrying in there. That's an opinion. I grant that. That's the Attorney General's opinion. It's also the Governor's opinion. So we started filing. We would not file on anyone until we got that opinion. I didn't want to waste local government's time. I didn't want to waste my time. We wanted the opinion. We got it. We started filing right away. And a couple of counties kind of scoffed and they kind of balked and they said, well, we're not going to follow the law. And we said, that's fine. We filed on you. We notified them. They didn't take the signs down. We filed a complaint with the AG. I got it in the mail today. Bell County has been notified that they're in violation of the law and they have 15 days to take their sign down or the fines start ticking. McClennan County, one of the big counties, also decided they were going to go down this road, and they have made a deal with the AG to move the offices that are not court-related out of that building. So this is happening. I've gotten City Hall after City Hall to pull them down. We've gotten rec centers to pull them down. Cities that were posting parks, we've got them pulled down. The signs are coming down. So what do you do if you see a sign that's unlawfully posted? And let me just make sure, I'm going to say something right here. I'm not going to deal with anything in this county tonight. So I don't know what's going on here. I don't want to know. It would be inappropriate for me to do that from up here, okay? These are conversations that I like keeping on the professional end of things, private conversations, things of that nature, okay? So, this county, I just found out, it's Usher County. Upshur. I've gotten 0 complaints at this point, from the county. So I don't know what's going on here. I don't want to know. All right. Afterwards, if you want me to know, let me know. All right. If you find a violation and you would like our help in dealing with it, we are the best at the state in dealing with this. I need you to take a picture of the violation, and then I need you to email it to sign, SIGN, at texascarry.org. Very easy. Sign at texascarry.org. Make sure I know the name of the building, and you need to tell me what's in it. Because I had somebody send me one, and they said, oh, this building's got the signs up, it's government owned, and I said, what's in the building? Because they didn't send it to me. And they said, well, there's courthouses and the judge's office. I said, that's it? And they said, yeah. I said, well, they're fine then. They're perfectly lawful. So the idea isn't to get places where we're not supposed to carry. The idea is that we're all expected to follow the law, right? That's it. If we don't agree with the law, then we try and go change it. But we don't get to just decide not to follow it. Any questions on unlawful exclusion of a CHL holder by a governmental entity?
The web address again?
Sign at texascarry.org. Yes, ma'am.
What if the courthouse has a restaurant and it's open to the public?
Yeah, that's a first. Actually, no, there's Hardin County has a restaurant in there. So here's the deal.
Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, the question is, what if the courthouse has a restaurant in it that's open to the public? Here's the thing, and this has been made very clear. And by the way, the AG's letters to these counties is on the AG website. You can go look at them, all right? If it is not a government court, and I'm glad you asked this question, remind me about Commissioner's Court if I don't remember. If it is not a government court, which the AG has defined as a constitutional judicial court, or it's not an office of that court, and it's in that building, it can't be prohibited. That restaurant is absolutely accessible to a license holder. Okay. So Commissioner's Court, a little interesting twist on this. There were some county commissioners court, and we have a commissioner here, I know, that believed that they were exempt under the government court law. That's not true. Commissioners court is not a judicial court. It's like city council, if you will. They operate under the Open Meetings Act. Can they prohibit? The answer is yes. They can choose to do that. Do they have to? Absolutely not. In my county, I can tell you that my judge wrote an administrative order, which the law allows him to do, and his administrative order said all license holders can carry in every office in the courthouse under their jurisdiction. You just couldn't go into an active court session. The world didn't end. How many people know that you can carry into the Capitol? Right? So here's what we hear all the time. There's a lot of emotional things that go on in a court. There's a lot of emotional things that go on in life. But I'm going to tell you, it gets no more heated in any area in Texas than on that House floor in Austin. And all those guys, even the anti-people that say they're against guns, every one of them down there are carrying. I mean, I'm always sitting back going, they're going to start shooting any minute now, right? You know, and I'm going to interject some opinion here, and that's okay. Bad guys will always do